Hi, Vico here, and this video will be going over the preparation of army and what to look for on a base and what army to pick when you're looking at it in prep day of Clan War. I'm gonna pick a few base and then talk about what army is best for a particular base. So in Clan War, because you could look at the enemy base before you actually make your army, you should always tweak your army to be the best possible ratio or army composition for that particular base. For example, this one has lots of AoE middle and pretty much no single target damage in the middle area. So what you could do is just have, let's say, a few golems and a bunch of P.E.K.K.A.s and just rush in with a jump spell. Hold on, give me 1 second. A jump spell right at this location. And if your P.E.K.K.A. goes in, let's say 3 P.E.K.K.A.s or 2 golems and a bunch of wizards from this angle goes in, your wizard is just gonna pretty much take care of this part, and once your P.E.K.K.A. goes into the middle, freeze this whole portion with your freeze spell, because that's where the enemy Tessas are. And once your P.E.K.K.A. is in the middle, it pretty much covers the whole base once you drop a raid spell around here. You always want to play out the raid inside your head, so you know where your spell is going to be dropped and what it's going to cover before you actually start doing your raid. It's always a good idea to have, before and be prepared on different occasions on random stuff happening. I'm gonna go over to the next base, and I'll be also covering what type of base is good to air attack and what type of base is not good to use air attack. Most of the time you will see 4 air towers covering. If you're not great with air attacks, please don't try to attack into those with air troops, because it's not that easy. You'll probably use perfect placement of freeze spell, and it's gonna be pretty hard, so the chance of failing is gonna be high. You want to use, because you have the time to prep a whole army just for that one base, you could use a special army that will have a really high successful rate. For this one, it's probably gonna be the typical Go Wee Wee army composition, because you could see that all the AoE are away from this side over here. So if your Go Wee Wee goes in here, your backline is completely protected by just a few tanks, and your freeze spell is gonna pretty much nullify everything. And make sure you always bait out the castle. Drop a few troops, bait out the castle. One thing to note is, on this base, there's not many empty spaces inside the base. Now that's very important information, because you know that these spots over here, especially this funny looking space over here, is probably either traps or Tessas. So you have to keep those in mind when you're baiting troops. Let's say for this one, you will see probably a Tessa right at the edge of over here to prevent you from baiting. That's my guess. So you will have to be prepared. The best way to do this will probably drop a giant, and if you see the Tessa pop out, immediately drop wall breakers onto this side over here. Onto this side over here, because the wizard is gonna be hitting your giant, and you don't want your wall breakers to go in at the same angle, because it's gonna get splashed in one shot. So that's how you bait a castle. You have to be prepared on what's gonna come up, basically. And once that's gonna happen, you bait your enemy castle onto the outside and just clean it out. And this base should be no trouble for a Go Wee Wee army. Next, I believe I covered this on the previous video, but this one is fairly simple. You just have to make sure that you're not attacking into double infernos, and always freeze the inferno when you're trying to use wall breakers to get into the middle, because infernos multi-targets, and when you're using a Go Wee Wee army, the wall breakers are very easily targeted. So you want to make sure that your wall breakers are safe before getting to the middle and triggering actually on the walls, not dying halfway getting there. Well, this is the same base, so I'm not gonna have time to cover everything. I'll be trying to cover bases that look different with a different structure, especially this one. Open wall bases. Now these are really easy when you're using P.E.K.K.A.s and Go Wee Wee, because every AoE is inside the middle. When your P.E.K.K.A.s goes inside to the middle, minus this single Inferno Tower, there's not enough damage to take out your P.E.K.K.A.s inside this whole area. So your main job is to get to here with your P.E.K.K.A.s. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the layout. You can see that the castle is right on the edge, so it's really easy to bait with one giant, or maybe two if there's a trap. And you probably want to attack from this angle in. Once the troop is out, you use your own troop to clear out enemy troops. And most of the time you want to drop a wall breaker here, because the wall breaker AI isn't very smart. So you don't want the wall breaker to be dropped here and then goes all the way here. You want to check if this wall is gonna trigger your wall breaker, and then you will trigger your wall breaker here and drop your golem over here, and over here. And once that happens, you just have to drop wizards across in an arc. Always arc your wizards, don't clump them together. That's not a good idea, because each wizard probably two-shots one of these, and if you have 5 wizards shooting at the same building, it doesn't really help you. Alright, so one thing to know about this base is this single Inferno Tower is gonna kill a lot of stuff if you don't time your freezing spell correctly. What you have to do is, let me clear this, and alright. When you funnel your wall breakers, since this wall and this wall is gone, the wall breaker is gonna hit here, and then it's gonna hit here instantly right after. So a good idea will be a rage spell over here, and once your P.E.K.K.A.s are dropped over here, they're all gonna funnel in one shot this poor little archer queen. And this is when you probably want to freeze maybe these 3 structures. Always ahead of time know where you're gonna drop your freeze, because sometimes if you panic, you might be like, oh, let me freeze this archer queen, and then she dies instantly, and you only freeze maybe the air tower that's not hitting anything because you're using a ground troop army. So once your P.E.K.K.A.s in the middle, everything should be freebie. Just make sure you drop another rage spell over here somewhere, so your P.E.K.K.A. just wrecks everything. Very straightforward and easy to take base. So I'll be going to the next one. Alright, these layouts are open from the bottom and lots of wall at the top. Usually in a good layout, they will try to limit you from getting the 50% if you attack from the top. I don't see it as being the case in this base because there's lots of stuff open at the top. Some people just don't know how to do layouts, I guess. But most of the time, you want to attack not into the double linear infernos over here. You do not want to have infernos shooting at you from these two angles, and especially when there's traps all over here. What you want to do is attack from the side. Wall breaker here, wall breaker here, bait out the castle, witch clear over here, and then your Go Wee Wee or whatever tanky army that you got, and just clear out the whole base from the side. This will ensure you an easy 50% because half of the troops at top is gonna easily take out the 2 or 3 defense that's guarding whatever troop, whatever structure is at the top, and your wall breakers won't have that much issue hitting this wall with one freeze spell perfectly timed. And that pretty much covers how to clean out these type of bases. So I'll be going to the next one, and just pretty much the same thing. Alright, this base. This is the particular base that Air Troop is really good at because you see that the air towers are very outside. These towers being at the very edge probably means that all the traps are at the top. So you probably don't want to attack from the top. And also, when you're using dragon raids, you have to make sure that the queen, king, and the castle, the troops that's going to come out of the castle, is going to bait your dragons into the town hall. You want to make sure that these 3 things lead your dragons into the town hall. So what you want to do is drop a dragon here, a dragon here, a dragon here, and maybe a dragon here and here and here and here. So now that the air tower is starting to shoot you, you want to drop about 8 or 7 balloons onto each archer tower, and instantly use a rage spell on about this area over here. That will ensure you to have your balloons killing this instantly and then killing this instantly, and then they will just go in separate path inside here, and they will be nothing but tanks for your dragons because it just pretty much clear out all the defense that's damaging your dragons. And your pack of dragons over here is gonna get baited by the castle that's gonna come out, and because of that, it's going to clear out much deeper into the base. And once that happens, there's basically no damage items, damage towers that could take out your dragons if you have, let's say, 3 or 4 of them raged under this portion over here. So it's fairly safe to assume that your 3 or 4 dragons are gonna pretty much clear out the middle right afterwards, and it will be a pretty good 60% raid from just killing all of these buildings. So this pretty much covers dragon balloon compositions, which is really good at taking out the air towers right away when you're dragon raiding. So I will also be posting a few videos of those in my next or maybe the next video. So leave your comments below, and thanks for watching.